All right, everybody, welcome to another MOTOPILOT Jeep Gladiator video where I call myself Overland Pilot for all my Jeep videos. What we got today is we're doing a comparison between the 3W floor mats versus WeatherTech. Now, these WeatherTechs were in my Gladiator when I bought it. I have a 2021 and they just looked tired. I didn't like the way they looked. They looked faded and weathered, and I suppose that just happens over time. So I reached out to the guys over at 3W and I had them send me a set of theirs. First row, second row, and then also the bed mat for the truck. And that's what really attracted me to the 3W set. So before we compare the design, I want to tell you a little bit about these 3W mats. They're made from a material they call Thorex, which is 100% eco-friendly. It is non-toxic, it's easy to clean, should have a precise fit, high heel resistant, especially on the material here. And 50% of these are made from recycled material. And they're supposed to have no odor. Yeah, I don't smell anything there. Now these 3W mats they sent me are the 2-layer. So you can see here they have carpet, and you're like, I don't want carpet, it's just gonna get messed up. Well, if you don't want to run the carpet, you simply, this is my first time doing this, yep, comes right off. And then you got this really cool looking mat. I was drawn to the design of this. I like this over what I was seeing in my WeatherTech mats. See the difference here. And so let's compare the two. What I'm seeing with the WeatherTech is it's got some pretty high sidewalls here and here. It's got a pretty deep dish. You know, it's got some traction going on here, and it's pretty sturdy. Yeah, it's a nice unit. I won't deny that it is a nice unit. The 3W, a little bit less sidewall, but you have about a 2-inch wall all the way around here. So if this thing's in your vehicle, you know, if you spill something, it's not going to really go anywhere. I imagine it's going to keep in dirt pretty well. I do like this tire knobby pattern, and this feels a little tackier than this, I will admit, but this has got wear and tear in it. This is brand new. It might get stickier over time. It's obviously got the 2 plugs here for mounting this in your vehicle. Now I will say this, without having the carpet on there, I wonder if these caps, yeah, those don't come off. So this is what you will see when this unit's in your Gladiator without the carpet on top versus a nice clean cap. Just something to think about. So I will say the next thing we want to do is let's stick them in the Gladiator and check the fit. So this is my 2021. It is the Mojave, but obviously the floor mats in all these trucks should be the same. So I have the WeatherTech in the truck now, and you can see here, you know, it's got a really nice fit all the way around. It's pretty tight up against the sidewalls. A little bit of a gap right here. That's not fully tugged up against that plastic wall. It is a good fit, I will give them that. But it just looks bad. If this thing was brand new, I still wouldn't really dig on the design. I don't like the look that much. I guess what bothers me the most, fit isn't the problem I have right now. It's the way they look, and I just, you know, yeah, they got some mileage on them, but I just don't like the design, period. So let's pop out the WeatherTech and pop in the 3W. So if you've never worked with the Gladiator floor mats, they have these 2 plugs right here that basically snap them in place and keep them from moving around, which is very nice design. So just pop these 2 up, give it a little fold, and just pull it out. And you can see this right here is just like a nub sticking up. So let's grab the 3W. It's a little more pliable. Look how nice that black is. That's what I was really after, is the cool design and a nice black, rich black finish. So drop this in. Line up your little pegs. Should hear a pop. There you go. All right. Now keep in mind, I just pulled this out of the box. So it might take a little bit of time for heat and stuff to kind of relax it, get it to its natural form. But let's take a look at fitment. And first look is, yeah, it fits really well. It's tied up against the carpet all the way around here. This is tied all the way around here, so it's got a really good fit. And then you come over here and, you know, once again, there's that little bit of a gap right here, but I don't think it's a huge deal. You know, I'm noticing here there's a little less coverage than the WeatherTech unit. You know, the WeatherTech kind of came up into here. So, you know, that's something to think about. But it looks like it's got really good protection, and it obviously looks really good. I'd say the fitment is as good as the WeatherTech. It just has a little bit less coverage if you're worried about that. So let's slap on the carpet and see how it looks. So here's your second layer of carpet. And like I said, you can run it or not run it. Feels nice and sturdy. This area here feels a little bit elevated and padded for the heel of your shoe. And then this feels really durable. Obviously, over time, I'll know how durable it is. But and I'm not even sure I'm gonna run it, but I'm gonna slap it in there for this video. It's got these nice caps right here to finish it off. So let's just pop this in. That goes in super easy. And it looks really nice. You know, if you want your Jeep to have that elevated, luxurious look for a while, maybe run this, you know, when you're in the streets. And then if you're gonna go do some gnarly off-roading, pop those out so you don't get them filthy. And that's kind of cool. I really like that they give it both options. All right, let's go stick in the passenger side. Then we'll do the back row in the back seat. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side with the WeatherTech pads. Once again, pretty good fit. A little bit of a gap right here. Kind of put my finger in there. Really good coverage here. And on the outer wall, you know, it's got good height to it right here. And then you come down and the fit looks good along here and along the back. So, you know, it is a pretty good fit. I'll give them that. But once again, it doesn't look great at all. So let's pull out the WeatherTech and slap in the 3W. Yeah, these definitely are a lighter duty floor mat, but I mean, you know, it's a floor mat. How heavy duty do you need it, really? Snap it in place. Looks good. So let's check the fitment here. This is really nice, really nice. Tied up against the carpet, comes up and around, tight fit, all up in here, all the way around this edge here. Tight fit along the outer edge here, looks good. And then along the edge of the seat, really nice and snug. That's perfect, perfect. Okay, let's slap on the carpet. Ooh, fancy schmancy. I do like that added touch. And it matches the black carpet in the Gladiator really well. So every time you go to get into your Gladiator, this is what you'll see with the 3W. And it's just so nice looking. Nice, rich, black rubber, or whatever the material is. And the carpet looks cool. So I'm definitely gonna run the carpet when I'm not on the dirt. And then obviously pull that out when I'm getting dirty. So that looks nice. I think the wife's really gonna appreciate that. And I know every time I was getting in the driver's seat and I looked at those floor mats, because that's like the first thing I see, I'm just like, ah, those WeatherTechs just look so bad. All right, let's take a look at the second row for the passengers. So these have got a attachment plug here and one up here. These are the WeatherTechs, and pretty good fit. A little bit of a gap right here, but it, you know, it looks nice. Good fit along here. I am pretty impressed with the fit in the center console. This edge all the way around is like, dang, it's like really tight up against the truck. Like that almost looks like it's part of the truck. So let's pull these bad boys out and slap in the 3W. Okay. That one wasn't even attached. Go to the other side. And detach your two. That one wasn't attached either. These were in the Jeep when I got it. I didn't put them in, so I never even checked that. All right, before we drop in the second row, let's take a look at the design. So this side has the carpet removed, and then this side still has the carpet there. You can see it's a pretty big piece of carpet there covering the rubber mat, so that's fine. And I really like this pattern of the design. So the depth, it's got a pretty good wall here. A little bit shallower over here. Doesn't quite have much depth as front, the first row mats. But still, you spill something on these and it's not going to go anywhere. And it's going to hold plenty of dirt and gravel when you're off-roading. So, and here's the panel that goes across the center console. So let's throw this bad boy in the truck. One thing I wanted to mention about the 3W mats is it does have these little spikes on the bottom to help keep these things from moving around. I can't imagine they're going to move much anyways with these locating pins, but they do have traction on the bottom, so keep that in mind. Okay, does it go this way? Get the other side in place. Sometimes it's a little tricky finding there you go, finding the location of these plugs. I don't know why I keep calling them plugs or locating pins, or I don't know what you call it exactly. Okay, let's look at the overall fitment. So really nice here along the door sill, all the way up along here. That looks really nice and tight. Very well done. Come over here to the center console area. This is really nice. Look at that, right up against there. Now when you get here, there's a little bit of a gap right here where the WeatherTech was right up against here, and there's a little bit of a bulge. Now that's because this thing was folded in half, and 3W says give it time, it'll relax and everything will flatten out. A little bit of heat wouldn't hurt. I could hit this with a blow dryer or something, probably relax it. All right, I've had the mats in the Gladiator about a week, and you can see here, this hump here is essentially gone. I did also hit it up with a little bit of heat and just kind of push down on it, and that looks great. And then the back edge along the tool tray, it kind of tucks underneath the tool tray, so it looks really nice and clean. Comes back along here. This is has a really nice fit right along here. Okay, passenger side. Once again, you open the door, and that's what you're greeted by. So it looks really, really nice. Along the back, along the edge here, nice fit actually all the way around. Nice fit around here. Let's slap in the carpet. That was easy. And then this big plug back here. What? All right, well that's as far as that goes, and it's not laying flat on the rubber here. Looks great. You open the door, you're greeted to a bunch of carpet. Looks really nice, covers most of the rubber part of the mat. I don't know. Might look better. Might look better without it. It looks more industrial. I don't know. Well, at least you know you got both options. Let's take a look at the bed mat. All right, here she is. Looks very nice. Let's check out the construction. That's the thickness right there. It's not as thick as some, but not as thin as some either. It's got a nice traction material. It's got this cool honeycomb pattern on each rib. that's raised. And you know, I imagine get it in the truck, give it some time, it'll flatten out nice and good. This thing was folded in half to fit in the box, but I like the look. I like that it's contoured to the natural shape of the truck bed. It's got a bit of a lip here on these sides here, and it'll make it look better inside the truck bed. And in case there's any spillage, cool little logo. But yeah, it's good looking, man. Let's put her in the truck. Something else you guys might be interested in is this OpenRoad truck bed rack combined with their truck bed cover. Basically, it's a retractable hard cover, super sturdy aluminum construction. The rack actually mounts to the cover. So I had a rack on this truck initially, but I couldn't work it with a cover. So tossed it and got the OpenRoad unit. She's pretty sweet. So if you want to see all about that, I'll put a link to the video in the description of this video. But you can get this combo for $1,150, where the other guys are about $1,800 to $2,000. So let's pop her open and get in the bed mat. Okay, looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. What an improvement. And I can feel how nice and sticky it is. Keep stuff from sliding around. I love that feature. Really good fit along the edge there on both sides. Looks really good fit. Now up front, see that little buckle right there? And so we'll see if this lays a little bit flatter over time. You know, like I said, it was in a box getting shipped, but when you look at that edge and that edge along there, they're both up against the fender wells. So, you know, that might remain. We'll give it time, see what's happening. I don't hate it. I just would rather sit nice and flat. It doesn't get in the way of your hooks, one there and one over there. So that's nice. And then you still got plenty of access to your hooks back here. And then let's see if the tailgate closes. This kind of comes back a little bit beyond this edge right here, maybe about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, no problem. Is it buckling? Yeah, and it didn't even buckle. I thought maybe it would be kind of lifted right here, but seems to be fine. Yeah, that was great. And then here is the final mat that I ordered for my Gladiator. This is a child seat mat to protect your leather or cloth seats. I always put down a towel and it works, but it's just kind of funky. And I noticed they had these rubber mats to protect it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Kick me down one of those. So you can see it's kind of got this kitty style pattern, which, you know, it's cool for the kids. And they sent me white, but it also comes in black. At the time, they didn't have black, so they sent me the white one. So let's toss this. It might come in beige too, I'm not sure. But I know black and white. Let's put it in the truck. And you just drop it in like that. It just kind of folds over the edge. And you just put it on like that. And I got room for my seatbelt. Clears my seatbelts. Now your seat has these 2 clips here, one here, one here, and it pretty much clears those, comes up and just kind of hangs over the edge. The mat also features this flap right here, so when the kid's legs coming over the edge here, they're not getting your seat all dirty and scuffed up. Nice. So yeah, if you're looking for a new way to protect your nice seats from your child car seat, this is a unit here, $60. All right, so I've been using the 3W floor mats for about a week now, and I have to say the added carpet on top with the padding is nice. You know, you get in, you feel that cushion underneath your feet, which feels great. I like to take my shoes off sometimes when I'm driving and just wear my socks, and having that padding underneath my feet versus a hard rubber surface. I didn't think of it at the time, but after testing them out, it's a great added feature. So my overall take on the mat kit is they're a great looking mat. I like the rich black. I don't smell anything in here. Being able to add the second layer of carpet is a cool feature. You're gonna save a ton of money over WeatherTech. These are gonna do the job that you want them to. So let's do a quick recap. You can get the 3W front row, second row, and the bed mat was $279.99. If you use my MOTOPILOT discount code at checkout, you'll get them for $187. That's 35% off using MOTOPILOT at checkout. Now, if you want just the first row and the second row mats, was $163.99. Using my 35% off, $109.99. So quit messing around. Go order yourself a pair of 3W mats right now at 3wliners.com. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.